Drama is a natural and inescapable part of life. From humans to wildlife, the siren song of melodrama is inevitable. This video, therefore, is from the animal world who played a better role than Hollywood. Let's jump into the overdramatic animals who deserve an Oscar. This is an overdramatic dog named Gay by locals in Bangkok, Thailand. Gay regularly pretends he has broken his left back leg, and he does it so well. A video shows him struggling as he drags his allegedly broken limb. The seemingly heartbreaking scene causes many to feel sorry for him. But once people approach and try to help him, this dramatic dog springs up with his tail wagging and runs off excitedly. At one point in the footage, a concerned man on a motorbike stops to check if the dog is okay, but starts laughing when Gay jumps up and toddles around greeting his audience. A local resident who regularly plays with Gay mentioned she has had both of his back legs checked and vets said there's nothing wrong with them. This funny dog should be rewarded for his hilarious photo. There are 19 of these brown bears at the Olympic Game Farm in Sequim, Washington. It's about a 2-hour drive from Seattle and is located near the northeast border of Olympic National Park. The farm supports itself mostly on income from tourism and donations. For a long time, it relied on word of mouth to attract visitors. Tourism had begun to dip, possibly because the location was too isolated. After several viral videos, including Carrie Underwood's music cameo and a handful of morning talk show appearances, the farm is now thriving. The bread-munching, paw-waving brown bears are the reason for the turn of events. This has been part of their behavior as far back as anyone can remember. The bears would do something funny or cute, and tourists would get excited and throw bread at them. Bears are pretty smart, and they can figure things out quickly. But waving is not part of any bear's character. This seemingly overreacting animal faints whenever he jumps on a swing. Not because of vertigo, but something more creepy. Ricky the goat suffers from a genetic disorder that causes his muscles to stiffen when he is excited or nervous. But the way he goes about collapsing makes you wonder if he is aiming for a list of animals who deserve an Oscar. Owner David Taneyhill from Ohio filmed Ricky and his sibling Lucy jumping on a garden swing. The two siblings have a genetic disorder that causes their muscles to stiffen for a few seconds when excited or panicked. They don't actually lose consciousness, and they tend to faint less as they get older because they learn to spread their legs and balance. Mr. Taneyhill, who lives in Cleveland, added that the blackouts definitely worried him the first few times, but he started to realize that it doesn't hurt them. They just get up and shake it off. My frequently inebriated uncle. It is still scary when they faint from a high position. But then again, Ricky never learns his lesson about the swing, so he can't be hurt that badly. Satin bowerbirds are some of the most commonly seen in Australia. They live in forests along the east coast. Occasionally, they drop in on gardens and backyards where humans encroach on their preferred habitat. These birds are quite comfortable around people, but not among themselves. Rival males steal knickknacks from unguarded bower cribs that may even demolish them if their owners are not around. The bowerbird is also an accomplished mimic, whose repertoire has been known to include the mew of a cat. Early explorers who discovered strange decorative twig structures deep in the rainforest thought they belonged to native people. The great gray bowerbird collects white or gray objects. After carefully constructing a twig avenue on the forest floor, he chooses decorations, arranging them around the sunny northern entrance. The artistic birdie favors blue, but may use yellowish-green decor like the female's plumage. If anything outside its color scheme falls into the bower, he will quickly remove it. The male bowerbird is one of the few known to use tools. He forms soft bark of other plant fiber into a sponge to absorb a mixture of saliva and bushfire charcoal, holding the sponge in its bill to dab the bower's inner walls. He also paints the twigs by rubbing them with the juice of pulped blueberries. Maybe we should do a Pimp My Crib Birdie edition. What do you think? Just hit like and subscribe, and I'ma tell you when we drop that video. Did you know that there are over 2,400 species of praying mantis classified into 29 families? These insects have a slim, long bodies and earthy colors that allow them to seamlessly blend into natural background. But to truly stay shrouded and unnoticed by potential predators, the slim, shady critters perform a so-called cryptic mimicry. They replicate not just the color and shape of the flora behind them, but also the movement. In other words, they swing their bodies from side to side to resemble the way plants move in the wind. The African ghost mantis is hard to beat in the art of disguise. Unless a ghost mantis is moving, it is almost impossible to differentiate it from a dry, weathered leaves. At only 2 inches long, this species has way too many predators, including birds, snakes, and even spiders. But thanks to its cryptic look, it can easily stay below the radar. To feed, the ghost swings as if dancing in order to get the attention of small insects such as beetles, butterflies, and bees. Forget what you've seen in movies. This is the perfect ambush. What appears to be a luscious flower moving in the wind attracts an oblivious bug that lands on it to pollinate. Suddenly, the praying mantis captures the bug with its spiked front legs before mercilessly killing it. Disgusting. The mantis feeds on heads first. These two mischievous yet persistent panda cubs have melted everyone's hearts. Cute as buttons, the two playful youngsters have gone viral for hilariously obstructing a zookeeper from sweeping fallen leaves. May, a keeper at the Chengdu research base of giant panda breeding, was certainly having a hard time trying to do her job while the two cubs rolled and tumbled around. She probably loves and hates her job in equal measure. From the moment she tries to open the door to the enclosure where the cubs are, May is already facing a challenge. She throws the broom over the fence to distract the cubs from the entrance, but the adorable pandas keep tumbling and rolling around and just being playful, curious selves. Nevertheless, Lo Ziping, CEO of WWF China, feels that everyone, including May, should celebrate these moments. Pandas remain scattered and vulnerable, and much of their habitat is threatened by poorly planned infrastructure projects. Sadly, there are only 1,864 of these cuddly cute pandas left in the wild. A short video clip of an African gray parrot flirting with its curator has set the internet ablaze. The 45-second clip, which was shared on Facebook by Atlanta Zoo, shows Larry the parrot flirting with Becky, the associate curator of the ambassador animals. The clip not only shows the bird vigorously dancing dirty, but also captures the moment when he quits and coils up in embarrassment. The gray-colored parrot is seen shaking his body and wings energetically as Becky questions him. Larry then turns his head, with his checkered coat flushing. The clip ends with the bird bowing and rubbing his cheeks into his feet. In the caption, the zookeeper explains that they realized the bird was being flirty from his body language. Flushing his cheeks, shaking his body, and lifting his head feathers is Larry's way of saying he likes a girl. I wonder why he's single.
Okay. All right, bud. Let me know here.
The clip has created quite a buzz on the internet. It racked up over 700 likes within minutes and a similar number of comments. One user wrote, "How interesting, Larry is very handsome," while another noted, "He is so beautiful and strutting his stuff." Talking of strutting the stuff, some zoogoers were in for a surprise when a full-grown male gorilla charged at them, cracking the glass on its enclosure. Visitors at the Henry Dorley Zoo and Aquarium in Omaha, Nebraska captured the encounter on camera. The video showed a young girl pounding her chest. Shortly after, the gorilla charged towards her and slammed into the transparent wall. However, zoo managers mentioned Kijito, the 24-year-old 375-pound western lowland gorilla, only cracked the first of 3 panes of glass. The material is engineered to account for the size, strength, and speed of a large male gorilla. This means the public was never in danger and the exhibit remained open. It was also reported that the gorilla's actions may have had nothing to do with the girl seen pounding her chest, a behavior exhibited by gorillas to intimidate others. Maybe he had just seen a frilled lizard on her dress. Dan Cassidy, the zoo's general curator, explained that although the gorillas may have been engaged with the public to receive a reaction, it was most likely exhibiting typical gorilla behavior and likely posturing towards another male gorilla. It is common for male gorillas to protest against one another and occasionally use the glass because of the noise it makes. As the face of TV icon Flipper, Kathy the dolphin was once among the most famous dramatic animals in the world. Sadly, after years of bringing joy to children across America, the beloved star was overcome by depression and she took her own life. Rick O'Berry, the animal's trainer, explained that after finding herself in a tiny tank, Kathy became terrified by the thought of life in captivity and forced herself to stop breathing. The 1968 incident is one of a number of apparent dolphin suicides. Dolphins are said to be self-aware and highly intelligent. After the movie Flipper ended in 1967, a spin-off by the same title also became a hit. The animals would be captured from the wild, trained, and after the show's end, were forced into life of captivity. A year after Kathy left America's TV screens, O'Berry was petting her at the Miami Sea Aquarium when the dolphin simply began holding her breath. She died within minutes. O'Berry revealed that when he let her go, she just sank to the bottom of the tank. That's gotta suck, man. What do you think? The Lipizzanders are known as the dancing white horses of Vienna. They train and perform at the city's Spanish riding school, the only one in the world to practice classical riding for over 450 years. The horses are so popular that a Disney movie about them was made. There is a Spanish riding school performance called A Tribute to Vienna with musicians of the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra. During the 70-minute show, the Lipizzanders perform their famous balletic moves to the tunes of Mozart, Strauss, and others. This includes all of the movements from the Olympic Grand Prix dressage test, such as the flying chances or the piaffe. While sandbagger horses canter, one of their front legs always steps in front of the other. With a flying change, these funny dramatic animals switch to the other leg while in the air. Some enjoy piaffe. With this move, the horse performs a highly collected trot, almost in one pace. Incredible, isn't it? The most spectacular part of the performance is the airs above the ground. During the airs, the riders don't use the stirrups. That takes thighs of steel to stay seated. At least someone is kind to cheerful animals. When Karma the cow was rescued from terrible conditions at a small farm, she should have been happy, but she wasn't. Cows are stupid. First day and night, Karma wouldn't stop mooing. This baffled her rescuers as she seemed to be pleading for something. It wasn't until the next day that staff at California's Gentle Barn Sanctuary noticed something. Karma's udders were full of milk. They quickly realized that she must have a calf who was left behind at the farm. And so Karma's new owners headed back to the old farm. The cow did have a little one who was on his way to the butcher. By a stroke of luck, the vehicle he was being transported in broke down and the rescuers were able to claim the little calf. What followed was a stunning reunion that shows just how strong a cow's maternal instincts can be. The moment Karma sees the trailer approaching, she instinctively jumps to her feet and begins to call out. As soon as she sees him, she rushes over to the fence, desperately trying to reach him through the barrier. Cows are not so stupid after all. Cashew the French bulldog has a problem with hunger. Needless to say, French bulldogs are adorable, intelligent, and generally friendly pooches. They are known to make incredible companions. Cashew spots a plain white coat and giant black eyes. He stands frozen in the dining room, hovering over a silver feeding container. The bowl is completely empty, clean as a whistle. The context suggests that Cashew just ate, but the poor thing stares at the bowl as though hoping for a miracle. To his utter disappointment, nothing happens. He proceeds to turn his head, giving his owner the literal puppy eyes, but the humans don't crack. Cashew proceeds to let out a faint snarl, growing angrier by the second. His prior disappointment has turned to madness. They say a hungry man is an angry one, but they haven't met Cashew. Cashew doesn't hold back, letting out screech after screech and shoving back and forth for dramatic effect. Just look at him. The pup wants to eat, but he'll have to hang in there. Talking of dinner, I just hope Christian isn't obsessed like Cashew the bulldog. He might not stop on what's on the plates. When you are called a shrimp, it means you are not considered to be of sizable strength or significant presence. But there's one weird wonder of the sea that crushes the stereotype right on its heels. The pistol shrimp is so powerful. The critter not only shoots and annihilates small prey, it has been known to throw the U.S. Navy off track, helped researchers make strides in fighting climate change, and even landed a superhero role on Netflix. Pistol shrimp, also known as snapping shrimp, earn their sea credibility by creating bubbles. But these are definitely not your ordinary bubbles. Combined, they explode louder than a pistol and generate massive amounts of heat. Pistol shrimp shoot these deadly bubbles to kill prey, drill into the rocks to create burrows, or protect the said burrows. Their pistols are built right into their one oversized snapper claw that can grow to half the size of their tiny bodies. As the shrimp open the claw, water fills the small crook. When they snap the claw shut, a plunger-like piece shoots the water out at the speed of a bullet. This creates a powerful bubble that not only kills what's in its path, but creates a surprisingly loud sound when it pops. The iconic lizard frill is recognized as a warning sign. This large, colorful circular membrane projects upward and outward when the creep feels threatened. It serves to make a frilled lizard appear much larger and scarier, especially with the mouth wide open. I think these guys are watching too much television. Also known as frillies, the frilled lizard exists in extremely southern New Guinea and northern coast Australia. It is the second largest lizard in the family Agamidae, after the sailfin dragon. Male Australian frilled lizards reach approximately 3 feet in length, while New Guinea males are a bit more than 2 feet long. And yes, you can buy one. Though they can be hard to pet and talk to, domesticated frilled lizards are available at the pet shops. When trained, their babies do relatively well. Male frilled lizards can be between 2 and 3 feet long, while females attain 2/3 of that size. Sounds like a nice family of pets to get if there's not enough attitude from your own. Listen, if cool videos like this are your choice of entertainment, just click like and then subscribe and you'll never be pissed. The grainy film first appeared on YouTube in 2018. Since then, it has melted millions of hearts. A full-grown lion hugs 2 young men like a big old kitten. The moving reunion between the men and their pet took place a year after they had left him in the African bush. In 1971, a heart-stopping hug made international news and inspired 2 documentaries. Rendell and Bork had returned to Kenya to see Christian the lion and George Adamson, the founder of the ranch. Adamson mentioned that he had not seen the animal for 3 months prior to their return. Incredibly, Christian reappeared on the 3rd day during dinner. He ambled up to the camp and rushed over to the men, grunting with excitement. He knocked George over, jumped on the table, and interrupted dinner. The whole experience moved Rendell to devote his life to conservation. He became a trustee of the George Adamson Wildlife Preservation Trust. What an amazing story. Thousands of people from Pittsburgh gathered at Gobbler's Knob as members of Punxsutawney Phil's inner circle summoned him from his tree stump. They were there at dawn to learn if he had seen his shadow. A message they said Phil would communicate in groundhog lingo. The hog is said to predict the onset of winter. After Phil's prediction was announced, the crowd repeatedly chanted, 6 more weeks! The event took place virtually in 2021 because of the COVID-19 restrictions, depriving the community of a boost from tourism. It was streamed live and seen by more than 15,000 viewers worldwide. About 150 cardboard cutouts of fans were there to watch. According to records, Phil has predicted the weather more than 100 times. Punxsutawney Phil may be the most famous groundhog seer, but he is certainly not the only one. A few less-known competitors are out there. New York expected an early spring. That is according to Staten Island District Attorney Michael McMahon, who presided over a ceremony that was live-streamed from Phil's home at the Staten Island Zoo. I thought he would be living at the Met Department and not the animal one, but Phil is unpredictable like that. An elephant seal crawled out of the sea and shuffled through the streets of a Chilean town is back in the water after a nighttime rescue mission. The massive marine mammal was filmed as it dragged itself for roughly 10 blocks through the Chilean streets of Puerto Cisnes in the country's south. Dozens of locals, police, and sailors from the country's navy lined up large terrapins as they attempted to block the seal's path. They formed a horseshoe around it, forcing the mammal back to the beach. Onlookers then cheered the seal as it made its way back into the water. The Associated Press quoted local environmental officials as saying it wasn't unknown for elephant seals to enter the town, but they stated that the animals usually found their way back to the beach. This is something that happens every year, and lately there has been an increasing in the sightings. Elephant seals can grow up to 6 meters long and weigh around 4 tons. They are in 2 groups, northern and southern species. The humongous mammals are found in the U.S. state of California and Canada. They are also on New Zealand and Australia's Macquarie and Heard Islands, respectively. I hope you liked our dramatic animal compilation. Jane Goodall has had a long and beautiful career studying and working with primates for 6 decades. She is best known for her work with chimpanzees. It is largely due to her research that we understand so much about our hairy cousins' goofiness and smartness. Goodall has undoubtedly had many notable experiences in her career, but there was one moment caught on tape that highlights her extraordinary connection with the overdramatic animals. Wanda was a chimpanzee that was rescued from the bush meat trade. When Wanda was brought to the Jane Goodall Institute's Chimpanzé Chimpanzee Rehabilitation Center in the Republic of Congo, she was half the weight she should have been. Goodall herself was not part of Wanda's rehabilitation, but she accompanied the team when it came time to release the lucky girl. Jane reassured Wanda with a soft voice and kind words on the way to the island, and the two connected immediately, despite this being the first day they met. And when Wanda was released, her expression of gratitude and affection, not only to Dr. Atencia but to Goodall herself, was a sight to behold. I wonder if Wanda still visits her cousins. If someone ever calls you overdramatic, have this video ready at hand. Nothing is more annoying than a squealing dramatic cat. From taking things too personally and getting emotional all of a sudden, to meowing like a spoiled baby, Cats can be an emotional roller coaster. This one here goes from a funny pet to a melodramatic animal who deserves an Oscar. The funny kitty who was caught on camera also happens to hate her name. Watch how she goes from being cheeky to frightened. Are you thinking of adopting a kitty? I would go with a bulldog. This is the Australian peacock spider, a careful performer who can't afford to make a wrong move. He's only the size of a grain of rice, by the way. Yes, somebody noticed him. That's because in Australia, almost anything could kill you, even a beautiful grain of rice. But the worst threat of this kind is the female he's after. She ambushes him from behind. Now, what can he do to win her over? Dance. Dance for your life or death. The 8-legged boy unfolds his colorful fan and begins his routine. Its elaborate shape and vibrant colors resemble a tiny peacock's tail. But even this carnivore isn't impressing the female. Time to step up. As is often the case in the animal's mating game, it's not the males but the females who call the shots. The more compelling the dance, the more likely she is to accept his advances. This ritual could have gone on for up to 50 minutes. But at last his performance is rewarded, and the lovebirds, or love spiders, mate. The charmer has done his bit and made her happy. But she needs food and he didn't order or cook, so she kills him. After all, his body will be the perfect nourishment for their little ones as they form in her now fertilized eggs. Huh? What movie character will beat this one? Not even Jack from Titanic. Which one has the most talent of all? Have you had a similar experience with pets around you? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Like always, if you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a big thumbs up and leave us some love in the comments section. To keep up to date with all of our awesome videos, be sure to hit subscribe and turn your notifications on to never miss a thing. Until next time, do take care of yourself.